Mariah Carey story. All right. Tragically, Mariah Carey lost both her mother, Patricia Carey, and her sister, Allison Carey, on the same day over the course of the weekend. That could be Friday, that could be Saturday, that could be Sunday. I don't really know. But this seems reminiscent of something that, well, let's just keep real. A lot of y'all calling it a sacrifice. A lot of y'all people saying it's a sacrifice. Storm is not saying that. However, we cannot forget that Allison Carey, the sister of Mariah Carey, actually claimed to have been a victim of satanic ritual abuse when the Carey sisters were growing up. So I'm just saying we're gonna get into it and we're gonna talk about it. You guys should be popping in any moment now. So let's go over to TMZ and okay. Wait for y'all to pop up in. I know it takes a minute before everybody comes in. I know it takes a minute. This story actually took me by surprise. All right. Elon says sacrifice, period, end of discussion. Okay. You feel it was a sacrifice? I got you. I got you. I got you. All right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and get right into it. What was the cause of death? We don't know yet. Okay. TMZ said Mariah Carey, dead silence with sister before death. Addiction is a big issue. So this was her sister, Allison Carey. Now, when you look at pictures of them in their youth, to me, they definitely like favor. That's a very, very young picture of Allison because that ain't how she looked in her old age. There we go. All right. Mariah Carey did not have any contact with her sister before she died because of an alleged drug addiction drove a massive wedge between the two siblings. Okay. Sources close to the situation tell TMZ Mariah never once contacted her sister Allison before she passed and instead spent the week with her dying mother, Patricia. So apparently the sister, Allison Carey, and then the mother, Patricia Carey, was like on a deathbed at the same time. Yeah, email me, stormmonroebusiness@gmail.com. I guess maybe they were on a deathbed at the same time. That's the only thing that makes sense. Now, Allison Carey was HIV positive and I believe had transitioned into full-blown AIDS. So they haven't confirmed that she died as a result of full-blown AIDS, but pretty much that's pretty much what it's given. Okay, so it's a picture of her there. All right. And apparently they actually haven't spoke since like 1994. So it's been 30 years since the sisters have spoke. Mariah was estranged from Allison, and our sources say it's all because Allison suffered from years of addiction. We're told Mariah tried supporting Allison both emotionally and financially, but it wasn't enough to get Allison back on the straight and narrow. Our sources say Mariah ultimately decided she needed to show Allison some tough love and not act as an enabler. So she cut off her sister and put up a wall between them. All right. And I don't know how old they would have been in this picture here. I don't know how old they would have been in this picture here. Wait, let me see. I'm really not sure. Looks to be maybe teenagers. Yeah, they have a brother too. They absolutely have a brother as well. They do. So let's continue. Let's go down. As we reported, Allison died over the weekend on the same day as their mother without hearing a peep from Mariah. Mariah Carey wrote about their relationships with her mom and sister in her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, alleging that her sister once drugged me with Valium, offered me a pinky nail full of cocaine, inflicted me with third-degree burns, and tried to sell me out to a pimp. So, if your sister tried to drug you and sell you out to a pimp, is anybody surprised that they were estranged? Is anybody surprised that Mariah wanted nothing to do with them? Oh, yeah, they definitely look alike. They definitely favor. Oh, yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. G&J said, are there any lambs out there? The book was everything, especially the audio book. I don't necessarily consider myself a lamb, but I do like some of Mariah Carey's music. Some. All right. But that's a picture of Mariah and her mother. And I guess that's Monroe that she's holding. All right. For her part, Allison denies her sister claims after the book was released. No cause of death has been released in Allison's passing, nor Patricia. So I wanted to switch over to this tab here. All right. Like I said, we already talked about Mariah's pain growing up. Apparently, Mariah and her sister had a very tumultuous childhood. All right. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any more traumatic and clearer than that. Mariah always had issues with the mother, too. I don't know what happened to their father. I would have to go research that. We'll do another video where we like really dig as much as we can. But as far as the father is concerned, I'm not sure because they have a brother as well. All right. Now, when Mariah's 2020 memoir came out, Allison had actually claimed that Mariah made outrageous statements about being drugged and attempted to be pimped. And Allison was like, look, Mariah, you know why I was wilding out. You know why I burned you. You know why I did whatever it is I did to you, even though I'm kind of denying what I did to you at the same time. And I did it because we were victims of satanic ritual abuse. Okay. We were attending middle of the night satanic worship meetings that included ritual sacrifices. Allison also claimed to have been diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. Deterioration of her lower spine and a digestive disorder. Okay. So it's no wonder that people are alleging what they're alleging. So I went and looked up, okay, like what exactly is satanic ritual abuse? Okay. And I found this is volume 16, issue 2, 1997, Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology. It says in the mid-1980s, a new form of child abuse allegations surfaced in the United States and eventually worldwide. At first called satanic abuse, then satanic ritualistic abuse, then simply ritual abuse. This form of child abuse was said by clinicians and a few researchers to be especially damaging to its victims because of the extraordinarily violent and bizarre nature. Ritual abuse was said to involve large numbers of victims and perpetrators of both genders, to be so cloaked in secrecy and involve such precise concealment of the evidence that almost no one knew about it, and to involve the most horribly painful and degrading practices imaginable, including sacrificing human infants to Satan, as we know, sacrificing kids to Moloch, uh, um, raping young children during satanic worship, eating human flesh and feces, etc. Okay. Now let's listen to the story of this lady who actually went through some satanic ritual abuse.
Again, my mom and dad in front, and I call him Dr. D in the back seat with me. And then we went to this shack out in the country, and the man led us into his house. There were 2 women, and there was another little girl who was just my size. The man knew my father. He let us in. And then when he did, a gun was pointed at his head. And then the man was put tied to the cross, and a gun was held at my head. A gun was held at the little girl's head. And then 8mm camera. It was my mom took footage of it. And apparently the kind of people who like to see films of Black men being murdered also like to see little girls without clothes on.
Lord have mercy.
Because I was made to do something to that man while he was on the cross.
Wow.
He was told that if he would go along with it and pretend to die willingly like Jesus Christ did, that the little girl wouldn't be killed.
So basically the mockery of Jesus, as you guys already know, when it comes to Satanism, Luciferianism, it of course does everything that is the inverse and the mocking of Jesus.
And so he did. But then as soon as he died, as soon as his last breath, then the gun went off and the little girl was killed.
Wow.
And the gun was at your head as well.
There was a gun at my head, but it was taken away at that point. And I was told, to leave.
Now, let's just leave that there. Let's leave that there because that's enough. Now, with everything that goes on in this industry, with everything that Mariah has been through throughout her career, this is one of the cases of celebrity. Well, not celebrity deletion because Mariah's alive, but like when their family passes away, and I know people pass away, that's a part of life, and everything is not Illuminati. I am very much aware of that. But what we also have to be honest about is for your mother and your sister to pass away on the same day when you guys came up allegedly in a satanic, ritualistic, abusive environment. And Mariah has been through Hollywood, been through the industry, had to deal with Tommy Mottola. There's no telling what Mariah has been through in the industry itself, what kind of rituals she's been through, what kind of pacts she has made. This literally sounds like Satan has come to collect. It is too odd for both of them, for the mother and the daughter in completely different locations, to just so happen to have died, to be deleted, to pass away on the very same day. I find that very, very hard to believe. I've heard of, relatives dying on the anniversary of each other's deaths or on each other's birthdays or around. I've heard of that. But there has to be yes, they pass separately. Yes, separately. So imagine your sister lives in Virginia, your mama lives in Wyoming, and they both pass away on the same day. You get a call, your sister has passed, you're with your mother, then she passes. Imagine that. It doesn't make sense to me. It literally does not make sense. So let's look up, just because I'm curious, what does it mean spiritually when relatives die on the same day? Let's see. Not sure. It's not really saying. It's more talking about the anniversary of passings, but not the same exact day. Let's see. JJ said married the devil. Tommy Mottola. Yep. Diddy bought his house. Mariah contract up to renew, and she woo. Yeah. Dr. David Foley. Yeah. That's all I can say, and that's literally all I can say. I had one of my cousins in Jamaica passed from a pew violence, went to their funeral, then like 2 days later, another one of my, okay, so that's 2 days later. I need to know somebody that has been through this where they both go on the same day. And it's one thing for, let's say, like, somebody breaks in the house or a car accident, and then a bunch of family members go at the same time. That makes sense. It's tragic, but it makes sense. But for two people that are related to go on the same day, I don't know. Broken-hearted syndrome is real. Maybe it happened like that. Maybe it happened where the mother left and then the mother passed and then Allison was notified and then she went ahead and I don't know. But what it sounds like is that they both, like, because Patricia Carey, the mother, was already in some kind of long-term care facility, so she was sick anyway. And then Allison was really sick already. And so they both would have had to have been on a deathbed at the same time. I always thought it was weird that she had two songs about death, One Sweet Day with Boyz II Men and Bye. Allison was in hospice care. Oh, got it. But the mother, Patricia, was too. It's a lot going on. I'm gonna leave that there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you care, and I will catch you all later.
It's Storm Show.